What is up, sports fans? And in this case, what's up, college basketball fans? It's March Madness. I'm Jeff Hartman. It's Pez's Picks. Pez is here. Pez, what's up?
Jeff, happy St. Patty's Day to yourself and everybody out there. We're
You know,
recording this on Monday. We're trying to get it out as quickly as possible, help people make some money. Jeff, we're not talking gambling today. You know we have a rule. You don't bet when you're drinking alcohol. I mean that's 99% of the time. Sometimes you make a mistake in a casino, but happy St. Patty's Day, Jeff. You got to loosen up with a little beer here.
there you go. Loosen up a little bit.
Let's settle down. We got numbers at the wazoo. The March Madness Bracketology. It's a database system. It's overwhelming data for gambling, investing, filling out your bracket. It's all gambling. Let's face it. Whether you're putting $5 in an office pool or you're betting individual games, the bracket is a living gambling thing. And luckily for us, we have an incredible amount of data. 39 tournaments with 64 teams. Do trends matter in sports and gambling? Absolutely. And there's a lot of reasons why. We're going to talk about matchups. I think the big reason why you have certain upsets at different seeds, you've got power conferences against non-power conference teams. And as we get further into this NIL situation, and I'm seeing a little bit happening this year, like we saw with college football, Indiana was not a team that was inked to be a great team this year. They didn't have any, five-star recruit guys. They had older players who have dedicated themselves to college and formed a team and left JMU and went with their coach. And you're going to have that same situation, I think, continue to happen in college basketball. You could have a 23, 24-year-old team, up against 18, 19-year-old blue chip studs who don't really know each other. And these are the situations we're looking for. And I think these are why we're seeing some upsets, and the data is showing that.
Now, just out of curiosity, do you do a bracket yourself, even if it's just for fun, with family, friends, whatever?
So, Jeff, I try to do as a small amount of brackets as I can. I miss the old days where I'd walk around with the bracket in my back pocket. I'd fold a piece of paper. Now everybody wants to do it online. So I reject online brackets. That annoys me. I don't want to have to look at my phone. I like the old days. You'd highlight your win. You'd
Yeah.
compare. I'm going back to middle school, Jeff. We're a bunch of degenerates down here in South Jersey, South Philly. So back in fifth grade, I'm looking at my bracket at lunch. I'm pulling it out of my Dukes of Hazzard lunchbox. So I did one today. I do one with some colleagues. It's called the 2-minute speed bracket. So this is for a breakfast, Jeff, which could mean a lot of different meals. But whoever loses has to cater the breakfast, and that could be at various times of the day or night. So we do a 2-minute speed bracket, and luckily we've been punching the numbers for this, and I think I'm going to hit it, Jeff. I'm not buying breakfast. I'm not going to be hiring an omelet chef for my colleagues, which I think is a classy move, Jeff. An omelet chef at a breakfast party, very
Yeah.
classy in Pez's Picks. I'm a big omelet guy.
I go the lazy way out. I give $30 and I get two numbers. And if my numbers hit, it's like a Super Bowl square, it does for the whole tournament. I don't even do brackets anymore because honestly, I don't know these teams well enough. But what we have found out, and we did this last year as well, but we did it in conjunction with our typical weekly podcast, which, by the way, folks, we're still going to have a podcast coming up this Thursday where we're going to give our picks, odds, leans, all that fun stuff. What we're talking about today is Bracketology 101. So different matchups, different seedings that just always seem to trend in a certain direction. Pez, I'm going to give it to you. Where do you want to start?
So, Jeff, the one thing that people make a big mistake on is the number of upsets that are going to happen in these tournaments. So we have 63 games. You have 64 teams. On average, and this is going to blow people's mind, 8.5 upsets is the average number of upsets for the entire tournament. So if you punch numbers, you're looking at 1 out of 8 games is going to be an upset. So what do we count as an upset in the gambling world? Anything that is not 8-9 or 7-10. So 9 beating 8, not an upset. 10 beating 7, not an upset. 11 beating 6, upset. 12-5, 13-4, and so on. So we're not talking 8, 9, 7, 10. We're eliminating them. We're eliminating these playing games, Jeff, which I find ridiculous. I don't think anybody should watch them. It's a total waste of time. What are we doing here? But anyhow, neither here nor there. So historically, in these 39 tournaments with 64 teams, we have upsets at certain positions and certain seeding, but we don't have a lot. So when you're filling out your bracket, I hate to do this, but especially in an office pool. In an office pool or a group of friends, a group of amateurs, if you will, chalk is generally going to win. If you fill out a chalk, meaning the higher seed will generally win each game, you're gonna hang in there. You're gonna have to handpick some upsets, and like we just talked about, 9 upsets last year, 8.5 is the average. 11 upsets has happened 5 times out of 39. So 33% of tournaments have fewer than 7 upsets. So I think a good logic, 7 to 10 upsets total, and that's going the whole tournament. The first 2 days, first round, we averaged just under 5 upsets. 8 in 2016 is the most. So 32 games are going to happen on Thursday and Friday. The first round, I think 5 or 6 upsets is a lot. And then we get into the science of picking which one. Second round upsets averages 3 times, and now we're down to 16 games. 6 happened 3 times. So each round you're less likely to see upsets, and you might have a team go on a run. The Cinderella team, that's gonna each game they win is gonna add to the upset total. But very few times have we seen a huge amount of upsets, and I know it's marketed that way. That's what people want to see, but chalk tends to win. Now, if you're going to be investing in one of these online, national website bracketology, I think a lot of upsets is the only way to go, right? Everyone's going to go chalk. If you're putting in a free bracket or you're putting in, a small amount for a large amount of people, FanDuel or what have you, maybe you pump it up to 12 to 16 upsets because you're going to have an outlier bracket. You're not going to be able to go chalk and win. You're going to have to hope more upsets are happening, an anomaly year, and then maybe you can cash in on that. But if you're sticking to office pool, if we're sticking to local pools, chalk is going to win. And we have some tournament seedings that do help out a lot of times in terms of upsets. Sweet 16, 0 upsets on 28 occasions, 28 out of 39. Final 4, 0 upsets 36 times. Each round we get to the number of seeds, and we're looking at 5 seeds or more apart. We're looking at 6 to 11 or greater. That's going to be very rare. And we're not talking about betting lines yet. And, I encourage people when they're filling out this bracket, even if you don't gamble, if you really want to, look good at work, you're trying to impress the boss or, maybe a young lady or a young man. I don't know, whatever you're into, Jeff, is fine with me. But if you're looking to impress people, check the lines when you're filling these things out, right? You might have an 11-6 where the 11's favored. Right off the bat, Vegas tends to be right. We talk about this a lot. The sports books tend to be right. Yep. They ain't in to give money away. So if an 11-6 is a favored situation there, maybe that's the 11 to go with. 2 seeds, Jeff, lose almost every year. When we get into the second round, you should pick at least 1 2 seed to lose in the second round. 7 or 10 seeds have upset 2 seeds 46 times in 39 tournaments. So what that means is 1.22 seeds a year are going to lose in the second round. That's a big number. So I think what we should do, we'll go through each seeding, each likelihood. We've kind of punched through these numbers a lot. When you fill the bracket out, we're talking about, 5 seeds or more. If you've got 15 to 20 upsets, you're not winning. I mean, that's not happening, right? Try to stick to, I'd say, 7 to 12. 12 being a very gambling way to look at upsets, 7 being traditionally maybe a little conservative, 8.5, 9 is going to be the average. So who are we picking to upset? We really got some numbers here, Jeff. We've got to calm down. We can write these down a little bit. We got NBA, we got college, we got soccer going, Jeff. We got all kinds of things.
There's a lot of information thrown at you there, folks. So make sure you understand what he's saying before we move on, is that you might look at a bracket and say, well, I have an 8 seed beating or 9 seed being an 8 seed. He's saying that's not counting in those numbers, in case you misheard it. That's not an upset. It's got to be a significant differentiator between the seeding number. And even like you said, look at the odds, because it might not be that great of an upset when it comes to actual basketball. It's just the way they're seated within their quadrant of the NCAA tournament. And I think to me, the biggest thing is, and we'll talk about this probably Thursday, you have to pick the right upset. So in other words, I think back to when I want to say it was like Fordham beat Virginia in the first round. Virginia was like a number 2 seed or a number 1 seed in their respective bracket, and it wrecked everyone's bracket. Like it just crushed it. It was a bracket buster. That's why they call them that. So I think evaluating, and I'll be curious probably on Thursdays when we'll dive into this, which upsets you're actually looking for. But this is fascinating stuff, how every single step closer to, Elite Eight, Final Four, less and less upsets. It's important to note.
So, and great points, Jeff. 63 games will be played. And on average, out of the 39 tournaments where we have 63 games, you're looking at 8 or 9 upsets. So, and that's counting the whole tournament. First 2 rounds, I think you need to think about 6 to 8 upsets. You're not going to get many more, like we just talked about. Now we can dial in. We're not talking teams yet. We're not talking lines. We can dial in on the seeding. We've got an incredible amount of data. So 11 seed over a 6 seed. So an 11 seed outright winning over a 6 seed has happened 61 times. That's 39% of the time 11 beats 6. That is a shocking number, Jeff. That's out of 156 times. An 11 seed has beaten a 6 seed 61 times out of these 39 tournaments. I mean, so you've got about a 40% chance if you take an 11 over a 6. 12 over a 5 seed. That's happened 55 times. That's the frequency number for any of the math nerds out there, Jeff, and I'm one of them. It sucks, but you got the numbers in your head like Rain Man or whatever. 35% of the time. So the frequency, it's down a little bit, but if we combine 11 and 6 and 12 and 5, I mean, we're looking at a pretty good chance for an upset there. So if you're looking to pick your handful of upsets in the first round, especially 11 over 6, your most solid bet. 1 or 2 of those, not a bad play. 12 over 5, you got a 35% chance of hitting them. So out of 156 times, 12 and 5 have met in the 39 tournaments we're looking at. That's happened 55 times. So that's happening more than once a year. 11 over 6 is knocking on the door at 2 times a year. So 11 and 12, by far, the most logical upsets to pick. Now, you can't pick all 4 of them, and then we're talking about doing your research, your due diligence, looking at the gambling lines, and maybe give you a better idea here. 13 over 4, still not a bad play. It's happened 33 times, 21% of the time, 13 beats 4. Pretty decent numbers there, too. Now, when we get a little bit lower, we're going to have lower odds here. 14 over 3, you got about a 14.5% chance. 15 over 2, 7% chance, and 16 over 1. I mean, that's happened 2 times, so you got a 1% chance. So off the bat, if we're going to be logical, do not pick a 16 beating a 1. I mean, you're looking at a 1% chance there. I think that's stupid. I think 15 over 2 in the first round, not a good play either. It's happened 11 times, but that's 11 out of 156 opportunities. Not a good play. 11, 12, 13 are our best locks for upsets. 14, if you have a nice insight into a team, maybe you know something, right? And, we've been doing a lot of data breaking down now. 3-point shooting has taken over basketball at the college and the NBA level. One thing that we look for in our system, how well does a team defend the 3-point shot? That is a phenomenally underrated data point right now in the pros and in college. There are coaches that dedicate to making threes and to defending threes. To be a wise coach in college basketball right now, you might give up under the hoop a little bit and surrender some layups and some down low shots to prevent threes, right? If you 10 twos is 20 points, 10 threes is 30. So we like to check 3-point defensive ability, and we like to look at 3-point shooting especially. But 11, 12, 13, by far best data points to have an upset in round 1.
All right. So I don't want to give away too much here because we're going to be diving into this way deeper on Thursday for the podcast. And so this is just to get you the information that we felt is pertinent before you fill out your brackets. Bracketology 101. And then on Thursday, we're going to be talking about specific teams, specific matchups, picks, odds, all that stuff. And as you alluded to already, we're not just going to be talking about March Madness on Thursday. We're also going to be talking NBA. We'll be talking Premier League, maybe even some golf because I like to talk about golf. So, yeah, anything else you want to add to this bracketology?
Well, we've got some round two rules, Jeff. And
okay,
once we get to round 2, we're looking at Saturday, Sunday. And this is the best gambling stat. It's something that we used to like to keep secret as bookmakers. But 7 or 10 seeds have upset a number 2 seed 46 times in 39 tournaments. So over 1 time a year on average, the 2 seed in the second round loses to the 7 or 10. So it doesn't matter who wins 7 or 10. And that's why it's not an upset. Those teams tend to be very close. I know they're separated by three seedings, but
Yeah.
Usually a coin toss. So 7 out of 10 times, or 7 or 10 seeds, have a very, very high frequency rate of upsetting at least one number 2 seed, 1.2 times a year that happens. So if in your upsets, when we're looking at 8 or 9 of these things, you're going to have to pick one. In the second round, a number 2 seed probably is going to lose. So which one out of those 4? Again, we don't know who's going to be playing. That's Saturday, Sunday. Punch the numbers. Or if you're filling out the bracket now, we don't have any idea. But punch the numbers. Maybe look at the advantages. 2 seeds going to have in the second round, thinking they're going to win the first round. But the greatest upset play is the 7 or 10 seed beating a 15 in the second round. You have to have a 2 seed losing in the second round. That's a wise upset pick to play. A number 1 seed has lost in round 2 once every other year. You're looking at a 1 out of 8 chance. I don't know if that's a great bet. Is there a chance that happens? Of course. I don't know if that's going to happen, though. I mean, that's a pretty slim number there. One time every other tournament. If we really want to punch the numbers, 7 over 2 has happened 27 times in 39 tournaments in the second round. 11 has beaten 320 times in the second round over 39 tournaments. 10 has beaten 2 19 times, and after that, we fall off. So 7 over 2, 11 over 3, or 10 over 2 are most likely upset plays in the second round. 12 over 4 is a pretty sneaky one too, Jeff. It's our last one we can put out there. 12 over 4 has happened 13 times. So I like that play. And again, to kind of simplify things, in the first rounds, we're looking at 11, 12, 13. 11 and 12 we love as an upset. In the second round, we're actually looking at 7, 10, and 12 as our most likely seeds to pull upsets. So these are rules that are based on data. It's based on calculating all these things over the years. We've got some leans if we want to actually get into specific teams. Auburn is the number 1 team I would not bet against. That's a team that's got a good run that they look like they're going to be matching up on. I know people are talking differently. Our number 1 upset, 4-13 right now, Jeff. Grand Canyon, 13 seed, 2 upset, number 4 Maryland. We love that in our system. That's hitting every point. Grand Canyon's one of those teams with a lot of veterans, and they're an older team. They're long, tough to score against, which we love. And Grand Canyon's coach is this weird, quirky guy that he's had some good runs. We like Vandy, number 10 seed over St. Mary's, 10 over 7 there. And one that we love, Jeff. UC San Diego, number 12 seed over number 5 seed Michigan. UC San Diego, scrappy, hardworking team. These are not kids that are getting NIL money, getting transferred around the country. They're not looking at the draft. They want to win to keep this dream going. I love UC San Diego, number 12 over Michigan. Pez's picks 1-0 in his life against UC San Diego, Jeff. About 20, 30, I don't know how many years ago. College soccer, Jeff, my soccer team, Richard Stockton University, upset San Diego in San Diego. We love this team. I've been in contact with them ever since, Jeff. I like rubbing it into them, but I love number 12, UC San Diego over Michigan, number 5. Those are a handful of solid upset plays. Now, we'll take a look at the lines and we'll punch the number if that's going to be a good bet. But in terms of bracket, that is our solid plays right now.
All right. I don't want to give away too much stuff. We're going to be back on Thursday for sure to give you specific bets, but I like those leans. You gave you a lot of good data. Fill out your brackets wisely, folks. Pez, any final thoughts?
11 and 12, Jeff. Let's stick to those seeds. Upset specials. Second round, let's stick to 7 and 10. And I think we're going to be making some money. And happy St. Patty's to everybody. Jeff, you as well.
Thank you.
Aaron Gobra, Salante. I don't even know what that means. Everybody says it at the bar, Jeff. Salante. I don't even know what that means. I guess it's cheers. I don't know. But Salante to you. My grandfather from Ireland, he's rolling over in his grave. Hope everybody has some luck. Let's win some gold, Jeff. Let's steal that leprechaun's gold.
Amen. We'll see you next time.